Hey everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show, entertainment, lifestyle, variety talk show series. So good to have you guys here watching from all around the world. Daniel Ross is our special guest coming in from Los Angeles, from Hollywood, California. He's an extraordinary actor, voice artist, producer, and the voice of so many of your favorite characters, ranging from Donald Duck to the Leprechaun in the Lucky Charms ads and so much more. There he is. Don't you love that shot? Screen Actors Guild and AFTRA, of course, as well. Winner, Best Voice Actor, Outstanding Body of Work. Just look at the Screen Gang. Look at some of the incredible characters he's had an opportunity to voice. Again, he's also an actor as well. What's really cool, yes, the Children's Family Emmys 2022 nominee for his work as Donald Duck, which is really fantastic. Of course, you hear him, Mickey Mouse and the Mixed Up Adventures as Donald Duck. Maybe we'll even get a chance to hear a little of it on the show. And these are, again, some of the places where you can hear his extraordinary voice. There we go. They've become real close friends. And as I mentioned too, Lucky Charms, who didn't grow up with Lucky Charms? And he is the voice of the Leprechaun that you see in the commercials and so much more. Here again is some of the others. He, of course, Uncle Shagworthy. We're talking about Multiverse, Scooby-Doo as well. And yeah, there he is there. Does that voice as well. You're probably really shocked. They're like, wow, really? He does all these voices? Absolutely. He's Uncle Shagworthy. He is so many characters. Stripe and Gizmo as well, also part of Multiverse. And there's Stripe and there is Gizmo. He's also on Tom and Jerry show as well. Various voices too. Lots of them you can see there on the screen. Even in Transformers. Yes, Starscream Transformers. Really cool stuff. There's another shot there for you too. And look, yeah, Rumpa-Dump. You probably know this as well. If not, yeah, he's done that voice. And again, more here. Diablo Immortal, part of that as well. This is just the short list, folks. Even on The Simpsons, we'll talk about that as well. And lots of incredible characters. And he was even a part of acting in this Netflix Snabba Season 2. This is just some of the incredible things he's had an opportunity to be a part of, and really loves what he does. Again, actor, voice artist extraordinaire. He's one of the most sought after voice artists in the industry. That's right. Television and film and animation and digital. Everybody wants Daniel, and you'll hear why in just a second. He's really absolutely amazing. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Jim Masters Show, entertainment, lifestyle, variety talk show series. I'm your host, Jim Masters. We're bringing back the lost art of conversation on our cool show that we started hundreds and hundreds of episodes ago. We're going to have some fun on this episode. Our guests come in from Broadway, Hollywood, television, film, stage, as well as culinary arts, sports, comedy, inspiration, everything you can think of. And we originate from the East Coast here in the New York area of the United States. We welcome all of our international viewers as well. Gang, if you would like to comment during the show, of course, we say hello to all the lovities. That's love and levity put together. I happened to come up with that word accidentally 2 years ago, and everybody said, I love that word. You're Mr. Levity. This is Levity Hall. We're your Levity squad. So I think that's so cool. So hello to the JMS Levity family watching all around the world. And if you'd like to comment during the show, you can certainly do that in our JMS Levity chat room that we created when you subscribe to our YouTube channel, which doesn't cost a thing. I don't know why they call it subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. You hit that red subscribe button, be a part of the JMS Levity family, and you can comment in our JMS Levity chat room. It's an actual chat room when the show is on where you guys can say hello to one another. Sometimes we even see some of your comments as well. So a lot of people like to do that. And don't forget to give this episode a like, a comment on the YouTube channel, and a thumbs up. And if you really like what we're doing here, super chat, super emoji, super stickers, super thanks. That helps support all the cool stuff we're doing. I just had a television shoot about an hour ago, and we ran from the TV studio and had a couple of radio shows earlier to come here on set. We're all decked out for the holidays. Happy holidays. You guys know that we move our set around and adorn the set based on different times of the year. Valentine's Day, the whole thing is red even I'm red. But here it is, holiday season. And so good to have you with us. Thanks for the love, the support. Again, you can find me, of course, on all the social media at Jim Masters TV, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Thanks for all the comments, all the liking and posting and sharing of the links to all of our episodes and everything else. You guys are absolutely the best. And we hear from so many of you, and we thank you so very much for all the love and the support for this cool thing that we started during the pandemic. People asked, are you going to continue this series? And yeah, it's just been fun. And it's when we have cool people like Daniel Ross joining us, who's very busy. He's got, and to just even have the time we have with him now is an honor, because he's extremely, extremely busy. And you never know what voice is going to come out of him. So get ready, folks, because this is going to be a lot of fun. Live and direct from Los Angeles, surrounded by lots of the characters, and in his home studio there. Let's welcome Daniel Ross to the Jim Masters Show. You ready, gang? Here he comes. Here is Daniel. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Hi, Jim. Thank you for having me. Or should I say, hi, Jim. Thank you for having me.
There he is, Donald Duck.
The man, the legend himself.
Oh, is that my intro? Thank you. I appreciate
that. all you, brother.
I was going to say.
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, my pleasure. I know you're really busy. You got so much going on, especially, this time of the year. You probably get a lot of extra work that's happening. How did you get started in voice work? You and I were chatting before we went live on the air. You said pretty much it wasn't something you necessarily set out to do. It wasn't something that you had planned when you were 10 years old to be doing. How did you get started in this field?
Well, so like we were chatting before the show, I had always been doing character voices, impersonations, accents. I used to sit in front of my TV Saturday morning, watch cartoons, eat a big bowl of cereal. That was a very fond memory.
Lucky Charms.
Exactly.
Of course.
Of Lucky Charms, not knowing what the future would hold at all. And by the way, Lucky Charms, they're magically delicious. So, for me, I didn't really love my voice as a kid. I wouldn't get into the shows that I wanted to. I was very much into theater and Shakespeare and production. And so I just wasn't getting cast in the roles I wanted. I would get cast as the quirky best friend or the villain. And so I didn't have that everyman kind of sound to my voice. And so I always looked on it as something that wasn't great. And then later in life, through my love of Transformers, I was watching the show one day and watched the credits and realized, hey, there's somebody behind that voice. There's a person doing that voice and they're making lots of money. Why not me? Why not me? So I went on this journey. I would go to Transformer conventions. I would meet the voice actors behind the characters, already being smitten with their work. And then very quickly realizing, hey, these people are kind of like me. Yeah. I saw a lot of myself in them, and it was like I found my tribe. I found very strange, wonderful people that just resonated with me. And after that, I decided, I want to pivot to voice acting. I think that would be really fun.
Now, had you done any radio? Did you do any radio work?
Prank phone calls and other things. And
right.
I use it for good. I use my powers for good.
I love that. Had you done radio work? Were you on radio over the years too?
No, I really didn't. I didn't go that direction. I, did a lot of voicemails for people.
Yeah.
Corporate things or events. If they wanted a certain celebrity voice or a character voice, I would do things like that. Some radio commercials that I got cast in, but not radio directly.
So originally you were a theater and film actor and producer from Maryland. And like you said, that was the direction that you really initiated going into, right?
That's right. That's right. Ever since I was little, I loved the performing arts. I loved being in front of an audience and making people laugh or just stirring emotion. I love being able to stir emotion in other people. Like when you go to the movies and you sit in front of the same proscenium and watch this, in the same spot, wherever, you're transported to a different place. You feel feelings that maybe you wouldn't feel in your lifetime, or experience places that you may never see. And so I
Right.
loved, being enveloped in a story, and to facilitate that for other people was magic to me. So I love making people laugh, making people cry, everything in between. That is just so satisfying to me as a performer.
And since, you moved to Hollywood, to Tinseltown in 2014 to pursue the voiceover work, you have been featured on almost every network. And of course, most notably, the voice of Donald Duck in the smash hit series Mickey and the Roadster Racers and Mickey Mouse Mixed Up Adventures on Disney Junior. I mean, when did that all happen? When did the whole Donald Duck thing happen for you? I mean, to be affiliated and associated with something that we all grew up with, a beloved character like that, for you must just, you had to be pinching yourself.
Yeah, constantly, because I never thought in a million years that I'd ever have the opportunity to even read for that character. So, I've always done the voice. It's something that I learned when I was a little kid. My mom, Michelle Sador, who loved to be called Mama Duck, she taught me the voice when I was 3, and we would go back and forth talking to each other. That was our love language. So good, bad, or indifferent, we could always make each other laugh with a little quacking. And she would say, "Oh, Daniel, I love you so much." And I would say, "Oh, Mom, I love you too." So that was our thing. And then, as things progressed, again, I thought maybe I would use that voice to, bark like a pug. Okay, maybe that's something else I could do with the voice, because I'll never have the opportunity to stop the duck. And so within a year of being in Los Angeles, I got my first agent, Michaela Hicks from Solid Talent. She gave me a shot and started sending me stuff, and we started booking. And one of the first things I booked was Lucky the Leprechaun. And I'll come back to Donald in 1 second, but I have to tell you this story. So I was working overnights at Target, managing the logistics process, all the trucks coming in, the freight going out. I worked from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. almost every single day. And it was a really hard job. It was really, really hard. But I had worked in retail management for over 10 years, almost 15 years. And so I was ready to leave. I was starting to book some work, and my gut was telling me, Daniel, it's time to move on. It's time to relinquish your health benefits and all the security you have and just go for this voice acting thing full time. And on my last day, when I said my goodbyes and I'm driving off the parking lot, shaking, I'm so nervous at the
Big
prospect.
decision. Yeah.
Michaela calls me and says, "You booked Lucky." And I said, "I booked Lucky. I got lucky. I got lucky. Oh my gosh, I really got lucky." And so we started with the Lucky Charms commercials. I did that for 2 years, and it was just such an amazing experience, and leaning into, my gut intuition saying, now is the time, do it. I listened to that, and I was rewarded. And then not long after Lucky, Donald came along, and that just changed everything.
That scenario was magically delicious.
It was. "You're not after me Lucky Charms, are you?"
You had to be. I mean, it must have brought you back. I mean, and two, just everybody that you grew up with, and here you are all of a sudden, the voice of, again, another beloved American iconic character from a serial that's been around for 50, 60 years, that's still out there, that we all grew up with. That was incredible, huh?
It really was. And I used to beg, my parents to get Lucky Charm cereal when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Because I wanted the sugars. I wanted those things.
Yeah.
And I used to pick out all the marshmallows, and I would ball them up into a ball, and I would eat the ball of marshmallows. And afterwards, it had looked like I murdered a unicorn. It was wonderful. It was amazing. So I loved Lucky Charms. And then to get the opportunity to voice Lucky was just, I was through the moon. Through the moon. People always say, "Did they send you free product?" And I'd say, "No, they sent me money so that I could buy the product."
So you can. Which is true. That's how it all works. But
Yeah.
wow, that is so cool. So that obviously really opened up a door for you where other opportunities came because, people, producers and others say, wow, he's the voice of this iconic character on the Lucky Charms cereal spots. Now let's hear other stuff that he does. And that led to Donald.
It did. I mean, not directly, just
Yeah.
because I had an agent who was sending me auditions, but there was already wind in my sails. I knew that I wanted to move to LA to pursue voiceover specifically because I felt like I had a good chance. You roll the dice and you see what happens. I felt like I had a good chance if I moved out here and really just enveloped myself in that world, that maybe my chances would be pretty good. And that was the right gamble. But back in 2006, I had campaigned to be in the Transformers movie from Michael Bay.
Yeah.
And so I sent a comic book to Steven Spielberg, Michael Bay, promoting myself to try to see if I could get an audition. And I ended up auditioning for the movie. It wasn't for the bad guys. It was just the Autobots, none of the Decepticons. And then Activision contacted me and said, hey, could you read for Starscream and a couple other characters? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you can tell behind me, I have a lot of Transformers. I have Cybertronian ink on me. I'm a huge, lifelong Transformers fan. And so, they booked me for Starscream, one of the biggest Transformers characters out there, originally voiced by Chris Latta. And, I had that in my back pocket when I came to LA. I had this major role in a huge video game and a huge franchise. And let's see if that helps with anything. You got a picture of Megatron right there. There you go. I think he's holding Starscream's head. Yeah, because he
is.
Spoilers, he dies in the movies. But yeah, so Starscream ended up sounding like this. Decepticons, make for the rendezvous point. The Allspark will soon be ours. He was such a fun character and just so near and dear to my heart. But that was the first big one. And then I started going to conventions. Not far from where you are, actually. I was in Rhode Island.
East Coast, yeah.
In 2007, and I'm surrounded by my heroes.
Oh, that's that huge Rhode Island Comic Con they do at their convention center, huh?
That's exactly
We
where I
just
was.
had that a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
So
Yeah.
that was kind of the beginning of it, and I got a taste for it, and I said, all right, I guess we need to try and pursue this voiceover thing. And I'm so glad we did.
So the Transformers opportunity came, and here you are again, like a kid in a candy store all over again.
Oh, yeah.
And then, oh, look at the cup. Yeah, you got to see the cup. That's so cool.
It tastes like Donald.
So then Transformers, and then you're getting closer and closer to the Donald Duck, or were there a lot of other things in between?
Really, not that much. I was in the midst of working on film projects back east. I had a production company with my best friend, Justin Timpane. We made the Ninjas versus movies. We did a trilogy of schlocky independent horror comedies. And they took off, and they found some of a following. So that was really, really cool. But yeah, I kind of left all that behind and said, let's pursue this voiceover thing and see what happened. So yeah, Donald changed everything. Absolutely changed everything. When I received that audition, they were asking for Clarence Nash, who was the original voice of Donald Duck from 1934 until 1984 for 50 years. And so Clarence kind of sounded a little bit more difficult to understand. It was a little bit undistinguishable, and so that was the shtick. What'd he say? What'd he say?
Right.
And so I put in the audition, not thinking anything would come of it, and I got a call back. I was called back to Disney, Disney Television Animation, their studios, And I'm in the waiting room with celebrities and other,
Wow.
peers in the voiceover world that I was just enamored to be around.
Yeah.
And I was told that there were, I think, well over 1,000 submissions. So to be in that room, it was like, oh my gosh, this is so validating. Like, oh, I've been doing this voice my whole life just to
Yeah.
entertain people. Now I'm in the room. I'm actually at Disney.
You're
Oh my gosh.
in the room. Yeah.
So that was tremendous. And my producers told me the moment that they knew it was going to be me. Now, during this callback, I'm so nervous. I'm shaking. I'm doing my best. And they were asking me to cycle through different words. They're saying, Daniel, can you say ridiculous?
Mm.
Sure. Ridiculous. Okay. Could you say this word? Could you say that word? How about this one? How about that one? And so I offered a suggestion and I said, hey, could I maybe offer one? And they said, yeah, sure. What you got? And I said, well, and they all looked up and went, could you do that again, please? And so my producers told me that was the moment they knew it was going to be me. We went through several additional callbacks. I had to sing. I had to do, more script work. But yeah, we got the call that we booked Mickey and the Roadster Racers. And again, my entire life changed.
What was that feeling like when you got that call? I mean, you've had some terrific calls already leading up to that, but when you got that call, I mean, did you think you were in a dream sequence or something?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first thing that popped into my head was, oh, good, I booked the job. Oh, good, I booked the job. I will work today. And then,
Yes, right.
it starts to change and evolve from there. And it's, oh my goodness, this is Donald Duck. I know Donald Duck. My parents know Donald Duck. My grandparents know Donald. Even my great grandparents knew who
Yeah.
Donald Duck was. He's been around for
Yes.
generations. He's known all
Wow.
over the world. And so the pressure really hit me at that point because it was like,
Mhm.
man, I've really got to do my work. I have to go in and study this character. I have to learn all of his isms. I have to bring things to the studio as options so that it stays true to the character.
Mhm.
Because my job, taking on a legacy character like this one, is to disappear behind
Yes.
the scenes. People want to hear the character that they want to hear. They don't want to hear me.
Right.
So
They
I
want
really took
Donald
that
Duck.
seriously,
Yeah.
knowing the history of Disney and the fans. Oh my gosh, the pressure was on. But the best moment for me was the phone call when I got to call Mama Duck and say, I got it. I booked it. That was something I'll never forget because listen, my mom was in a bad place at that time. She had just gotten over about a breast cancer. It was really difficult for her. And for me, growing up, my mom was an artist of her own right. She would draw, she would sculpt, she would paint. She was so creative and so amazing. And over time, with the cancer, that sparkle kind of left and it dissipated. And I was distraught by that because I loved my mom and I loved her creativity. It fed me. So when all of this happened, I got to fly her out to Los Angeles. I took her to Disney Studios to see the handprints at Legends Plaza. I took her to the production facility so she could see where they were actually drawing the characters. And that sparkle came back. And that for me was true Disney magic. If there is such a thing as Disney magic, that was it for me.
Yeah.
She was able to give it to me, and I was able to take it and give it right back to her in that sense. That just meant the world to me.
Mm.
So, yeah, that phone call, calling Mama Duck right afterwards, I'll never forget that. It was such a joyous moment for the both of us.
That's incredible. Because again, she knows the passion, she knows what you've done and how hard it is. And, it's something that you've been developing and fine tuning through the years. And I think it's so, so cool. And like you said, even when we were a kid, you were sort of mimicking some of the other characters and the sounds that you heard on the cartoons and the TV shows and
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
And it's funny, I used to probably one of the things that put me into the broadcasting world, working in television and radio, is I would do that and I would be mimicking the announcers. This is CBS. I would be saying all of that in the car and at home, and you're watching Channel 2. I'd be doing all of that. And I think when you do go back to the childhood and you think about those things that you used to do and how if you get a chance to do them, as life goes on, as you have and do it so beautifully, it's a very sweet spot and a cool thing, isn't it? Because you're doing what you love. And when you do what you love, uh, you're going to nail it because you're 110% in, you're passionate about it, you believe in it, you love the work, and you're also excited about it. And having all those elements underneath the actual task at hand just really enhances it, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And I would say this, what I do is not easy. It's not an easy job. I mean, you all get to see the finished product and the exciting moments where I get to share the things that I've done. But behind the scenes, I'm auditioning every day. I'm, networking. I'm making relationships to hopefully work, a long time in the future. I'm coaching students. I'm analyzing scripts. I'm handling my business because I own a business that is all encompassing of this, and it's a lot of work. But it's a great job. I'm not going to lie. It's a great job. I have so much fun. My inner child is at play anytime I get to step into the booth and create in a partnership with, a company or, a voice director for a show. It's an amazing experience. And so I feel very grateful that I get to do this as my job. But I wouldn't have done that if I hadn't taken a big risk, a big, 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 big risk. I left my family behind, my friends, my production company, my job. I was even planning a run for state Congress in Maryland before I moved out here because I wanted to help bring film credits back to the area. So I had a whole life and I left it behind in order to give this a shot. Because
You left those Maryland blue crabs behind,
yeah.
and the Philly cheesesteaks, and the New York pizza,
especially with Old Bay seasoning on them. Oh my gosh! But yeah, I looked at the time and I said, when is the right time? When is the right opportunity to follow your dreams and give it a shot? And I was already in my 30s, and I'm like, there's no better time than now.
Yeah.
Why not? Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a try, and let's focus on voiceover to see what happens. And again, that was the right gamble. It was the right question to ask, and I'm so glad that I acted on it.
Absolutely. And we're so glad you did too, because you're incredible at it. You really, really are. And it's because again, you're passionate about it. How do you we'll take a look
stop. No, don't stop. Keep going.
Keep going. Well, I was going to say your mother faxed us the bio and said you better read it verbatim. Now we did our research because being in the industry too, I really admire you and all the work that you do. And I know how hard it really, really is. And what he's saying is true, folks. It's very demanding. It's very unpredictable. There's ups and downs. It takes a lot of energy, tenacity, and enthusiasm to do any of the stuff that all of us do that we make look so easy. None of it is behind, the walls, behind this set here, behind where he is, and in the studios. It's something, but that's what drives you, right? The adrenaline, the striving for excellence to get it good and get it right. It's what, as much as it's crazy and demanding, it's what keeps you motivated, right?
Oh, absolutely. And most recently, that was very clear when I did work on a game called Multiverses. So I played Gizmo, Stripe from the Gremlins movies, as well as Uncle Shagworthy from the Scooby-Doo franchise. But for Gizmo and Stripe, originally Howie Mandel voiced Gizmo and Frank Welker voiced Stripe. But in the movies, they were relatively quiet characters. Gizmo wouldn't do much more than, he was very quiet. And so we're translating this beloved character into a fighting game situation where he's screaming and, punching and doing all kinds of stuff. So to be in this territory where you take a character that is already well known and established in their sound, and you're kind of forced to make it your own in that respect and take it into territory that hasn't been done before. That was so much fun for me. It was so gratifying. And it's a really fun game. You should check it out. It's available on pretty much all consoles. And I think it's up for some video game awards this year as well.
That's so cool. That really, really
is.
We
heard Gizmo there. And then, of course, Stripe is, Gizmo. And Uncle Shagworthy is Shaggy's zillionaire rich uncle, and he sounds like Uncle Shagworthy at your service. You're not up to my jewels, are you?
Well, yes, with the British affectation there, which
Exactly. And much like Shaggy, like Scoob, we better find some Scooby snacks.
yeah.
Like Scooby snacks. Sounds very similar. It's in the same world. So
This
that
is
was a lot of fun too to adapt that character. Casey Kasem did Uncle Shagworthy in one episode back in the 70s.
that's right.
And like Shaggy, he sounded just like him, like Shaggy did, but with a little bit of a rasp on it, like I'm Shaggy's uncle, Uncle Shagworthy. So we just took it on the British spin, and it made it so much fun.
Video games and animation in that way is such a huge area for voice work, right?
Oh yes,
When your voice, as much as growing up being the voice on a cartoon is really something, today with the advent of course, video games and so much more on the digital side of things, if you're a voice of a character that's beloved on a video game, you are golden. You're as good as the Pope.
well, a lot of video games are like movies these days.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
have a full narrative. They're beautiful. They're immersive. It is a different form of entertainment than what it started out as with Super Mario Brothers. Back in
Yes,
the early
or
'80s, or
Pong,
even before that with Atari.
back and forth.
Exactly, we've come a long way since Pong.
The Atari
And
wheel.
so it's a completely immersive experience. And I think much like you have favorite celebrities in movies,
Yeah.
you have voice actors who take on some of these really incredible roles that linger with fans, and they want to see them just like any other celebrity. So yeah, the quality of video games has gone up tremendously in what you can do, but adding voice to it always lends an authenticity and a realism to bring those characters to life, and I love doing it.
Yeah. I like the little giggle after.
I do.
Yeah.
I get so
Yeah.
excited. Now, video games tend to be very different from animation.
Yes.
A lot of the animation that I do is preschool oriented or very high energy, vibrant characters. And then you step into video games, and sometimes they're really dark, and sometimes they're a little bit scary. And you have time to like play in the nuance and play with the timing of things. And so I love the difference between the two, the variety that I get to play in. It's incredible. It really is.
I tell you, like a kid in a candy store on so many different levels.
Yeah.
It's truly amazing. How did the whole connection or relationship with the Tom and Jerry show happen for you?
Much like everything else, I auditioned for a character named Rutger, who you can see in the upper left-hand corner there. He's a little German mouse who loves to talk about his cheeses, and of course the captain. He's just so much fun. So I got cast to play Rutger in a bunch of different recurring Tom and Jerry skits. And then they would bring me on for incidental characters, like Igor. You can see there. He was Dave. His name was Dave, and he would bring the pancake mix for the doctor. Along with lots of fun characters, a little dinosaur puppet who kind of sounded like another dinosaur puppet, So yeah, Tom and Jerry was amazing, and that was on my bucket list of things that I used to watch when I was a kid. Now being an adult and being able to participate in it, I mean, mind blown. So anything that I watched as a kid that is currently available and working now, that's what I want. That's what I want to do. That's my bucket list for animation.
Are
So,
there shows?
I'm coming to Looney Tunes
Looney
at some point.
Tunes and
We'll see what else happens.
Fred Flintstone.
Hey, Bonnie, my pebbles.
Of course, oh yeah, absolutely. Jim Backus as Mr. Magoo.
Oh my goodness.
That was another classic, huh? I tell you, really amazing. And sometimes people don't realize that some of the folks that do the voices are, fabulous actors and other things. And they thought that that's all they did. But there's all these other things that everybody does. And sometimes that's what leads to doing the work, which is really, really cool. The fact that you made this such a thrust of your career, I think is fantastic. You even had an opportunity to partake in a Simpsons episode, huh?
Yeah, I did some Walla. I did some
Yeah,
Walla for The Simpsons. I wasn't playing a direct character,
right.
but you could hear my voice in the background during some class scenes, and we did a lot of improvisation, which was so much fun. But just being able to say I worked on The Simpsons was just rewarding enough as it is, because I grew up with The Simpsons too. So there we go. We check another off the bucket list. I'd love to play, a regular character. That would be even better. But this was amazing, just to be able to be there and to do that and participate. I'm a happy camper.
Absolutely. And here's another one too. You were involved in this as well.
Yes, North Dark Reaches from Neverwinter. I play another funny character named Rumpadump. He's a myconid, so he's made of mushrooms, but he's a living mushroom and a beloved character from that franchise. So I'm very honored to voice him as well. He has a lot of vocoded effects, a lot of effects on his voice. But Rumpadump sounds like this. You speak at Rumpadump.
You must have a lot of fun in the studio. It must be, matter of fact, I believe we have, if this is part of the studio, we may have some evidence of some of that.
Uh-oh.
What it takes, what it actually takes. See, this is
Yes,
what it takes, folks.
this is my crew from the game Overwatch 2. We were doing, again, some Walla for some of the cutscenes. And I mean, you've got some amazing people there. Dino Andrade, I mean, Aaron Fitzgerald. I mean, so many amazing people in one photo. And yeah, every time I get to play, this is the vibe. We're there. We're going to take pictures that would make our grandparents upset because we make lots of faces. But we're just having the best time, and I think that translates.
Yes, it does. And the result is extraordinary. This too, as well, huh? Kid Danger.
Oh yeah, the Adventures of Kid Danger. You've done your research.
Yes, I think it's awesome what you do. I think it's fantastic. People are going to look now every time they see all these characters and like, oh, that's Daniel. How did you
Yeah,
get involved with this
I
one?
played on that show two characters. One was this guy who gets caught in a gorilla cage, and he's calling the superheroes to help him out of there, which was a lot of fun. He was very panicked. And then I was the I guess a cult leader of a volcano group of people that live inside a volcano and worship the volcano. That was a lot of fun.
They
You
worship.
never know what you're going to end up doing. That's
No,
the best part about it. You audition all the time, never
right.
know what's going to come your way, and then when it does come your way, you're like, huh, okay, that's a part of my journey now,
Exactly.
in the best
When
way possible.
so how does it work for folks that are watching that aren't sure how this works? When you are tasked with, okay, here is the character. Now, a Donald Duck or maybe even the Leprechaun, you have a sense of what they originally sounded like. And then maybe even you might put a little bit more of a spin on it that makes it your own a little bit, and they like it and they run with it. Some may say, no, we want it to sound exactly like it always has sounded like. And maybe the previous voice person is no longer around, and you're now taking their place. In this case here, when it's a new character, do they give you guidance as far as this is what we want it to sound like? We add a little of this, do a little of this, or have you had instances where you came up with what you thought it should sound like, they loved it, and that's what that voice of that character now sounds like?
It's all of the above. All of the above. So when you create a new character, usually, again, you're working in concert with the voice director, the producers, the writers, the other directors. I mean, there's a whole group of people behind any episode of anything you do. There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, so to speak. And so it's always working in concert with that group of people. But a lot of the times they cast you thinking and knowing that you know what you're doing and you're going to bring exactly what they heard to the project. Uncle Shagworthy, that we just talked about, was a prime example of that, where my audition is exactly what you hear in the video game. That's exactly what they went with. They said, great, we love it. And so on the day, my voice director might offer some suggestions on like rereads, or if we want to take something in a different direction or improvise. That was a good example of that. Lucky the Leprechaun, on the other hand, they wanted me very specifically to sound like Doug Prees, who I think was the second or third voice of Lucky the Leprechaun. Arthur Anderson was the first. I think Doug Prees might have been one of the longest ones. But yeah, so I had to emulate Doug Prees. And then for Donald Duck, little bit of a tweak because it was for a preschool audience.
Yeah.
And they wanted to drive the narrative a little bit more. They asked that Donald be a little bit clearer to understand. So I had to slow him down a little bit and over enunciate, as well as pitch upwards just slightly. So what originally sounded like, Clarence Nash to me is so a little bit of a difference. To the casual fan, they might not hear anything, but for me, it's night and day. It's night and day. So that's my little stamp of me on that character in that particular instance. But yeah, it varies all the time. You never know what's going to happen when you walk in. I had a situation where I auditioned for something and I get to the studio and we do something completely different. Completely different. And I'm like, why did I get in the studio in the first place? Well, they wanted to work with me. They thought it was a fun audition. Okay, let's do it. It's just fun. It's so much fun.
That is true. And all people might not realize that sometimes when you're on shoots of any kind, there is this initial thought of what it was going to be, but then right there on the fly, sometimes the entire original concept is thrown out the window and something right there on the spot is created, and that's what they're going with. And maybe they're tweaking it as they're going along.
And in the case of video games, sometimes we don't even know what we're doing till we get there because of non-disclosures and, secrecy and things like that. So you never know. You just show up and hope for the best.
Exactly. That's it. And knock it out of the park. Here's another. You were involved with this as well.
Yes, Diablo Immortal. That's a mobile version of the Diablo franchise. I play one of the Heliquary bosses, Beledwe the Conjoined, as well as a bunch of other characters in that one. That was a lot of fun.
Wow.
And that's available now. You can check that out.
It is available now. And you also this too, huh?
Yeah, Snabacash. I played in season 1 and season 2. There was a drug lord named Marco. And so I played his voice for both seasons. And that was also amazing. A lot of fun and a very different facet of voiceover, because when it's dubbed from another language, there are skills you have to learn to be able to time things correctly to the lip flaps, that are on screen. So very, very tricky spinoff of what I do in the voiceover world. But again, a great performance is a great performance. And I loved working for Netflix on that one.
So that's really interesting too. Yeah, I didn't even think about the different languages and the dubbing and all of that. That it can get quite intense, huh?
We have something called a rhythmaband that goes across the screen that shows the dialogue, but it shows the dialogue in a special way to inform you of how to say the word or the, exhales or inhales. Like if a character goes, there's a written text to go along with that so you can match it. And so you have to, inform yourself with the information, play along with what you see on the front of the screen, as well as be mindful of what the rhythmaband says. It can be very tricky, but it's a lot of fun.
Do you get involved in the actual technical part at all, the engineering, or do you go in and you're in front of the, that was his windshield wiper impression. That was very good.
Thank you. I've been working on it a very long time.
That was mime. There was no vocal. Because if he's union, so if it was vocal, that would cost a little bit to have a windshield wiper sound. But if anybody could make a windshield wiper sound.
Yeah, no, I don't like the technical side of things. No way, no how. I like being the weird guy behind the curtain, pulling all the strings. For me, it's the creative side. I like to step into the booth and not worry about anything technical. I mean, there are some basic things like microphone etiquette, knowing what to do when you show up for a session and how to be prepared, vocal distance, from placement from the microphone, things like that. but I don't want to be adjusting knobs. I don't want to be looking at levels. I want to be focused on the character and escape in that moment, because that's my playtime. That's my playtime when I'm there in that moment. During the pandemic, I had to take that role on.
Yes.
I had to upgrade my home studio to be able to do stuff from home, and movies, TV shows, video games, all of it. And that was a real challenge. But if I have an opportunity to go into a studio and have somebody else do it for me, I'm perfectly happy with that.
Do you ever play around with your voice sometimes when you're in public, if you're in a retail store or and people
That sounds very funny.
You're on a bus or you're on a train or something, and people, where's that voice coming from? Where is that?
You know, I don't.
There's only
I don't
four of us
anymore.
in this train car, but I'm hearing all these voices. I better go to the doctor. I'm hearing voices.
I used to do that in my mischievous childhood and youth. But now I use my powers for good. I don't do drive-throughs or anything like that. I get asked a lot to do different voices, so I don't feel the need to prank other people or to be like, hey, you want to hear my voices? No, well, you're gonna hear them anyway. Like I don't do that. But I used to.
You used to, yeah.
Especially my
like
first
what
time at
happens to your
Disneyland.
face, the way your face transforms when you're doing various expressions and voices. It's cool.
Yeah, our whole body changes when you're doing stuff. You are physically performing. Voice acting is no different than regular acting. It's just a different medium of the performing arts. Theater, as an example, you're projecting to the largest group of people. You're using your body expressions in an enhanced way. You have stage right, stage left. You have to be mindful of where you are in the proscenium. Then you go to film and TV, and it's all behind the eyes. It's all in the subtlety. What do I do with my hands? Everything becomes quieter or more paced and more nuanced. Then you transition to voiceover, and you take all of your bodily expression away. You can't talk with your hands. You can't make facial expressions. You can't make eye contact. So you take all of those human communication tools away, and you're just speaking through the voice. You have to paint the picture. You have to paint the picture of where you are, what's going on, what's the emotion that's happening, so many different things. And that's before the animators get their take on it and get to animate to what you're doing and create the physicality. So it's a very different medium of the performing arts, and I love it so much.
How do you take care of your voice? I know as an on-air person on television and radio, where sometimes I'm on air for hours at a time, and you're in the booth for hours at a time as well. What are one of the things right there in the Donald Duck mug is the tea is really good. Do you stay away? Like if you know you're going to have to do something soon, do you stay away from all the dairy products? Do you get a lot of rest? What do you do to actually take care of the instrument itself, which is your voice?
So that's a great question, and a loaded question, because there's lots of things you can do for your voice. And in particular, it really depends what kind of voice I'm getting myself into. So if I'm doing a particularly hoarse, scratchy or scary voice, I might not do anything in the morning. I might wake up, like 30 minutes before my session or something. So I still have that morning sound, in my voice to utilize it. Whereas throughout the day, as I'm talking more, my voice becomes a little bit higher pitched, a little bit clearer. So I might warm my voice up to a lighter voice. But yeah, like you said, I might avoid dairy if I need my voice to be clear. If my mouth is too dry, maybe I'll have, like some barbecue chips that'll help me salivate. I keep my sinuses clear. I flush them out in the mornings and the evenings. I drink lots of water. I stay hydrated. And part of my self-care routine is I go to an infrared sauna once a week, and I sweat it out. I just sweat it out once a week. Yeah. Feels so good. But that's kind of what I do. It's worked for me so far. But I have thrashed my voice a couple times, just being too happy and too zealous and in the moment. Just forgetting, like, oh my gosh, I'm here to play and I'm having so much fun, but I end up sounding like Harvey Firestein, at the end of it, because I didn't take care of my voice. So you just have to be cautious. But I think with everything, you learn your limitations. You learn what you're good at. And once you know that information, you can roll with it.
Have you been tasked with or requested to do the voices of other actors, other performers, maybe other legends as well? We talk a lot about, some of these animated characters and illustrations and stuff, but other legendary people as well?
Yeah, I don't do a lot of celebrity voice matching. I can certainly do a full cavalcade of voices. Most individuals who are not working these days. One of my favorites is Anne Ramsey, who played Mama Fratelli in The Goonies, and Throw
Oh,
Mama from the
yeah.
Train. Oh, and you rotten little child, you horrible son, I never loved you. Like that's one of my favorites to do. Bobcat Goldthwait, definitely one of my favorites. From Police Academy. He's one of my favorites. John Malkovich, sometimes, depending on the scenario. Or I might break into Christopher Lee.
Mm,
Christopher Lee was one of my favorites. From Lord of the Rings, Saruman.
yes. Right.
I do some impressions here and there, but I don't do a lot of celebrity voice matches. It's not something that I've endeavored to do, but I can in some respects.
What's a typical day like for Daniel Ross?
Oh my gosh, typical day is I wake up, I take care of my bird buddy, who's a crimson-bellied conure. He's a sweetie pie,
Really?
and
Is, is,
we'll
is,
play
is
for
there
a
a
while.
voice for Buddy?
What's that?
Does Buddy have a voice?
He does, and he says hello, he says good morning, and he says I love you, and that's just great for me. He's surprisingly quiet when I have to record, so he's the best studio pet that I could have. But yeah, I take care of him. I take care of myself. I go through my auditions. I do scene breakdowns. I coach these days. I work with people one-on-one about their auditions, or helping, offer advice for their careers. I'm signing autographs through my website,
Yes.
making appearances through my agency Celebworks. I've got a busy schedule, and now we're doing some interviews pre
That's
Emmys, which is
great.
really exciting.
That is a whole other thing. Yeah, you are Emmy nominated. When you found out that you're Emmy nominated, and that's for the Donald Duck character, right? I mean, that's incredible. Another phone call. You get some good phone calls. Make sure you always answer the phone when it rings, because these are some good calls that you get. Remember when they used to say, now it doesn't matter anymore, but we would hear this as kids. The parents or grandparents, aunts and uncles would say, "Oh my God, if somebody calls after 10 o'clock, that's bad news. Somebody died. Something happened if it's after 10 o'clock. Now you get a call at midnight and somebody needs something by tomorrow morning or whatever." Uh,
Well, I found out November 1st that I got the nomination, and that was a day I had intended to sleep in, and my phone was blowing up, and I'm so mad at my phone. I'm like, why won't you leave me alone? I'm trying to sleep. And I pick up the phone, and I'm looking, and everyone's congratulating me, and I'm like, what are you congratulating me for? Oh my goodness! And then obviously, the news struck, and maybe not the most normal reaction. I wept. I wept for a good couple
yeah,
hours
well, that
because
makes
it
sense.
meant
Yeah.
so much to me. Not the accolade, but the circumstance. Mickey and Minnie Wish Upon a Christmas was the last thing that I watched with my mom before she passed from cancer earlier this year.
Yeah, I know.
And so it was my curtain call as Donald Duck, the last thing I voiced when my shows ended.
That's
And
beautiful.
so she was there from the beginning of my journey to the end. And I told her in that moment, I said, I'm going to honor you through my work. People are going to know your story, and people are going to know about our love story and everything that went into this amazing character. So I submitted for the Emmys, just like, hey, it's my last chance. Let me do it for my mom. Let's see what happens. And here we are. I don't care what happens at the ceremony. For me, this was just the most fulfilling and amazing way to honor my mom and that legacy. So I'm just so grateful for the opportunity and to be on shows like yours to talk about it.
The Jim Master Show. I know of all the things you've done in your career, this is probably, one of the pinnacles, right? This was on your bucket list to come on the Jim Masters Entertainment Lifestyle Variety Talk Show series, right?
I wanted to talk to your JMS Lovities.
Well, yes, and they already said you're a lovity. Now that you know how that happened? I said that the show 2.5 years ago, hundreds of episodes ago, I said this show has a lot of light, love, and levity, and that's something obviously we need in our lives all the time, but especially during the pandemic when this thing launched. And I said it, ever the East Coaster, New Yorker, said it a little too fast one day, and I said light, love, levity, and then I said light and levity, and they're like levity, and combining love and levity. So they jumped on it. They said, stop the presses. You are now Mr. Levity. This is Levity Hall. We're your Levity squad. The guests are part of the Levity family. And then they say that the guests are Levities. So you've already been deemed the Jim Master Show Levity. Most people say when they hear that, because there are Emmys, Grammys, Tonys, Tellys, Oscars, Peabodys. But when you get a Levity from the Jim Master Show, are your feet tingling? That's what most guests say. It's usually happening. Their feet start tingling. One of the guests said they started levitating. What's happening to you right now?
I was going to say my feet are going numb because I've been sitting for a very long time. I don't know if it's the levity thing, but I levity it.
Oh, it's always a levity thing. Sometimes people go numb.
There you go. But what you said really resonated with me about starting things in the pandemic when you started, this particular podcast, and I started jumping on TikTok, and it was just an opportunity for me to be like, hey, I need to cut loose. I need to be silly. Here's an outlet for me to do that. And 1.3 million followers later, a lot of people know me from TikTok these days.
Isn't that amazing?
So if any of your users would like to follow along, you can find me across social media under Actor Daniel Ross. Again, that's Actor Daniel Ross. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the tickety talks, all those wonderful things.
There's the website.
And my website is actordanielross.com. I made it very easy for everyone.
You did it
so
like
if you
I
want to learn
did.
about voiceover or have something signed, that's my website. And you
Actor
can find
Daniel Ross. That's what I do with Jim Masters TV. Same thing, to make it easy, just because, there's so many platforms that you want to make it as easy as possible. So that's great. There's that website, gang, actordanielross.com. A couple of friends here that usually pop in just wanted to say hello. Gilligan is here. Bob Denver. This came in. Dreama Denver, Bob's wife, Bob Denver's wife, Dreama, was on our show, I think 3 times. She's coming on, I think, next week again. And she wrote this fabulous book, Gilligan's Dreams, about their, marriage and life and what it was like being married to Bob. And she looked at our set, because we usually have the I Dream of Jeannie bottle here and all these other cool TV things. And she said, "You're missing something, Jim." And I said, "What are we missing?" She said, "You're missing Gilligan." She said, "I'm going to send you the Gilligan doll, the bobblehead. Aloha, Jim, Dreama Denver." And that was really cool.
Oh my gosh.
And then we had one of the guests was Don Full of Love, Mayor Goldie Wilson from Back to the Future. And he said, "You got to have yourself a Don Full of Love, a Mayor Goldie Wilson." And there he is. Look at that expression.
Amazing.
But you have some fabulous characters behind you. Tell us about this incredible room that you're in. We're going to do a little Edward R. Murrow, CBS News, person. I'll lean back in the chair with the cigarette. We're now at the Hollywood home of Daniel Ross, surrounded by his family. Who do we have there, Daniel?
This is my man cave. I'm surrounded by, characters that I've voiced, awards, pop figures, boxes of, Lucky Charms cereal, gotta represent. And of course, my Transformers that I love so much. So this is my creative space. This is where it's contained. It doesn't spill out into other parts of the abode. But for here, this is where my inner child gets to play. And so it's apropos that I would be surrounded by all the things that I love.
You know who loves that? George Burns. My Aunt Lillian collected dolls, and she was a serious collector, spent lots of money on real serious collectible dolls. And she loved George Burns, had the George Burns doll when he came out. And I think when he turned 100. And so it got passed down to me, and I did a nostalgic show where we pulled out childhood toys, Matchbox cars, all kinds of stuff, and brought out the George Burns doll once 2 years ago. And then the audience jumped on it, and they're like, "We love George, make him part of the show." So he's here with his cigar. He's always got the cigar, his red pocket square. He
I
hangs
love
down
it.
below. He's always over here like an associate producer with his martini and his cigar. But George is loving it. And
Starscream says, "Hello, Mr. Burns. Are you going to bring me the old spark? No? Oh, well."
I bet you can probably do George Burns too, right?
Oh, man, George Burns. I'd have to go back and listen. I feel like I used to do his voice, and then I went into doing Stan Lee.
Oh,
Stan Lee
yes.
from Marvel. And they kind of sounded similar, and so I lost my George Burns in the process.
Well, George says that he absolutely has been loving this conversation, and he's a big fan of your work. And, you've talked about a lot of incredible things. What else is coming up? Again, congratulations on the Emmy nomination. I know that is something that is, hot off the presses. And even just being nominated is such an incredible honor. And
Oh,
congratulations.
believe me, the first thing I did was I updated my LinkedIn to Emmy-nominated actor.
Yes, well, of course. But winner, best voice actor, outstanding body of work too from Savas. That's fantastic too. I mean, look at the
Yeah.
screen for some of the characters that he is responsible for. Even that's a fantastic honor as well, huh, my friend?
It really was. It really was. And I'm just flabbergasted that I'm at this point in my career and that I get to do this and have fun with what I do and love what I do and make other people smile. It is one of the greatest jobs that I could have ever hoped for. And again, I'm just sitting here in gratitude for the trajectory and the story that's unfolding, because there's no end to the journey. The journey is as you're going, and it's what you make of it. So I hope for the best, and I hope I can do this for the rest of my life. I love it.
What would you say to somebody that's watching they admire what you do and they're just starting out? What would be some good advice? Because obviously the industry has changed quite a bit, and now you have a lot of online stuff as well. What would be a piece of advice for somebody watching?
Don't give up. Don't
Yeah.
give up. Don't let the world tell you that you can't, or that you shouldn't, or that you won't. You do exactly what your heart desires, and there's no limit to what you can manifest in this world if you truly put your heart, your passion into it. That would be my advice. And then, of course, study acting, study improvisation, the basics of the foundations of an acting career, and just be your best self. Be your best self. Not always easy,
Right.
but something to endeavor towards.
Does Daniel ever forget who Daniel is because you're taking on all these roles?
No, I love being a chameleon and getting lost in these different roles. I mean, it helps me forget my day-to-day troubles if there are any. But I love escaping into a character and a story and being a storyteller. Like I was saying earlier about going to a movie theater and escaping into that magic. I love being a part of that. The world is tough enough as it is. So to be a part of people's solace is very fulfilling for me.
This has been really extraordinary. And congratulations, my friend, on all of this. East Coast kid makes good. We love these stories. And
You got it. It's all those blue crabs in Old Bay, man.
That's why. All those summers in Ocean City and up towards Rehoboth.
Take me back. I love LA, but take me back. I love it.
Do you get back to the East at all to visit family and
as
friends?
As much as I can. It's very expensive these days, but I go whenever I can. Whenever I can.
Well, let's definitely stay in touch. I really applaud you for the work. I know how hard it is, and I know you love it, and you're super talented. And to take time in the busy time to stop by the Jim Masters show and what we're doing here, trying to, some of the guests say that we are bringing back the lost art of conversation and sort of that Cavett Carson style, which we like to do. And I don't even call these interviews. I call these conversations, and like it's a television show. And you've just been nothing but gracious and funny and passionate. And that's why people love working with you. And I wish you nothing but continued success. You are welcome back anytime. I always say we'll keep the porch light on for you, Daniel. And I hope that you enjoy the time with me as much as I have with you, and the show met whatever expectations you might have had too.
Yes, it checked all of my expectations. Thank you. Thank you. It was lovely to talk to you, Jim. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you to your audience for enduring me. And hope to see you on the social media at some point. Follow me on TikTok. We have a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We'll follow, yeah, follow you, follow me, like Phil Collins sang. You're the best. Best of the holidays to you and the family, my friend. And spread the word about the Jim Masters Show series. If you know other folks you think might like to stop by, a lot of the guests tell each other they're welcome to join us as well. And again, continued blessings, joy, and success, and good luck with the Emmys as well, my friend.
Thank you very much. And happy holidays. Don't forget to check out Mickey and Minnie's Wish Upon a Christmas on Disney Plus. It's available now.
I like the way you said that. You're the best, my friend. You take care, Daniel, all right?
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Cheers. Isn't he great? Absolutely. Daniel Ross right here on the Jim Masters Show. That was a lot of fun. And look who stopped by. Gilligan and Don Full of Love, or Mayor Goldie Wilson. And of course, you saw George Burns stopping by. We have a lot of fun on the show, even though we do the show in a professional way. We got to have fun. You got to laugh, right? Life is short. Life is crazy. And Daniel is absolutely loving what he's doing. And I can resonate with that as I tell you that I absolutely love what I do on television, my years on radio, film, stage, this series that we do here with all of you. Absolutely love it. And I will agree with what Daniel said on many levels. These kinds of things, the work is intense. Even putting a show like this together, where it seems like we just flip a switch and there we are. There's so much backroom work it takes to put even a show like this together and have as many episodes as we do day in and day out here for all of you. But this is what I do. I love this work. Maybe I have the advantage of working in television, radio, and some of the experience and understanding of how it works from that. Same thing with Daniel Ross. He's got a real appreciation and understanding of the industry, of what it takes, the tenacity, the passion, the blood, sweat, and tears, and to have fun with it as well. He's had an opportunity to voice so many iconic characters that many of us grew up with, and a lot of new characters as well. And he's a prolific actor, voice artist, and producer as well. Emmy nominated. We congratulate him on that. Of course, when you get awards and accolades, it's always icing on the cake. Not why we do what we do in these industries, but it's always the icing on the cake when you're recognized not only by the viewers and the listeners and those who are the consumers of the product, but by your peers in the industry. Sometimes it's hard to get the recognition from the peers in the industry, but when you do, it's like a feather in the cap, and it's such a beautiful thing. And so, you know, it's great stuff. And as we showed earlier, again, he did win Best Voice Actor, Outstanding Body of Work from the Society of Voice Arts and Sciences. That's what SOVAS is, the Society of Voice Arts and Sciences. And you can see on the screen there just some of the many characters that Daniel has voiced. Isn't that a cool shot there? And again, Emmy nominated as well. A new friend of the Jim Masters Show live entertainment lifestyle variety talk show series, Daniel Ross, stopping by. And again, that's what's great about what we do here at the Jim Masters Show. When I put these shows together, you know, when we book the guests and we put all of the materials together and we start promoting what we're doing, I like to have shows that sort of, you know, engage the intellect and call upon your emotions. We have a lot of fun on the series as well, the Jim Masters Show. Of course, he's a part of this and Donald Duck. And you got a chance to hear some of the characters as well, which was great. Mickey Mouse Funhouse. And there he is with the sketch of Donald. Even the voice of the Leprechaun in Lucky Charms. Yeah, he had an opportunity to do that in his career. Uncle Shagworthy. Yeah, Shaggy variant. These are just some of the characters. There he is there as well. That cool stuff. And of course, Stripe and Gizmo, multiverse. Yep. There is Stripe. There is Gizmo. Really cool stuff, huh? a part of the Tom and Jerry series as well. Rutger, Dave, and additional voices by Daniel Ross. Gang, if you were enjoying this episode, definitely give us a like on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. That really helps us big time when you click that big thumb that you see right next to the episode. There's an up thumb. Click that, click like. Leave a comment for us. We'd really appreciate that on the YouTube channel. Leave a comment for us. Let us know how much you're enjoying this episode and all the episodes you enjoy. And don't forget to subscribe as well. Click the red subscribe button on the YouTube channel. That doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost a dime, but it really allows us to know that you're a part of everything we're doing here and you truly appreciate what we're doing. And it matters to you what we're doing here on the Jim Masters Show. You know, sometimes we turn on the lights. In this case, we got a lot of lights with our fantastic looking set for the holidays. Isn't it great here? I don't know if you ever see the snowman that's right there. We are really decked out with all of our fun and frivolity here for the holidays. Hope you're having a great holiday season, everybody. I hope you're enjoying maybe gatherings and holiday parties, or you're just enjoying the beauty of the season. We are at the time of this show right now in the midst of the holiday season. So we always like to have fun and decorate our set for that as well. Here's some more incredible characters, as we mentioned, Transformers as well, Starscream, some others, Rumpadump. He did that character for us on the show. If you missed anything, if you joined us late, you can see this again. Here's another one that he's involved in as well. Yeah, that's cool stuff, huh? And then in the studio having lots of fun. That's what it's like some days. Some days are like that, and some days are like that. You just never know which is going to be which, right? That's life. What a fun show. All of the shows are fun. Gang, we have really been pulling out all the stops with all of our guests, all of our production, everything we do, from the music and the graphics, the conversation, everything that goes into this series, the Jim Masters Show, is to entertain, inspire, inform, educate, and have a good time with all of you with our famous JMS Levity. We thank Daniel Ross for joining us direct from Los Angeles, California, as our special guest on this episode of the Jim Masters Show series. Emmy-nominated actor, voice artist, and producer extraordinaire. Really a cool cat and fantastic talent. And really cool to have him here on the show. We'll have him back. And we always have the door open for all of our guests. And many of them say they want to come back right away, which I think is really cool here on the Jim Masters Show. Good stuff. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope everything is going well for you during the holiday season, that life is treating you well, and everything is okay where you are, wherever you're watching. We realize our audience is international, and we have viewers that literally watch from all around the world. I don't need this. If you ever wonder what this is, when you see me on, a little behind the scenes here, this is an that's like a little earphone, and it's in there so I can hear the guest, I can hear their theme music, I can hear various video clips and things there, because our microphone is down here. And so here is sort of like an IFB in a way. And so that's what that is. But since the guest is gone and we said our see you laters, we don't need that now. But anyway, gang, thanks for all the love, all the comments, everything you've been doing to spread the word. And if you're brand new to our show, if this is the first time you've discovered our series, we have done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes of JMS Live, of the Jim Masters Show series. You can see them all on our YouTube channel right here at Jim Masters TV. All of them are on the YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. If you've missed any episodes, if you would like to see this episode again, we do archive all of them for you on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. And talking about social media, again, you can find me as well on Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook at Jim Masters TV. And like, follow, and all the rest. We would love to have you there. and spread the word about our show, about this cool series that we do, that we have designed for all of you with all of our levity, our lovity, and all the fun. What a cool show. Just having a good time. A lot of great guests. It's been a terrific time. We have so many guests that we have coming up too. I'm so excited about the guests that are also coming up on our series. We're working real hard. We're at a point where, and we have been for a while, where people are asking to be on the show. They watch an episode or two. They like the vibe. They like the interactivity. They just love all of this and they want to come on the show. And I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. That folks want to stop by the Jim Masters Show experience and they want to, interact with me and with all of you, all of our viewers watching around the world. Some viewers are, vocal and they comment in the chat room. Others are quiet and you just watch at your own leisure, 24/7, 365, morning, noon, or night, whenever you happen to be watching this. When it's not live, because we archive everything. We have folks that watch, at all times of the day from all around the world. We welcome everybody from the United States and all throughout North America, Canada, and South America. And we hear from Europe and Asia, Africa, and Australia, and New Zealand. And I know I mentioned that a couple of times, in our series. I just think it's really, truly amazing. As much as like Daniel is still blown over by the incredible things that have happened in his career, I am too. And it's just amazing. When you get a chance to connect with people and bring people together through your art, through your work, through your love of whatever it is that you do, it's awesome. And I could say easily and confidently that I have always enjoyed doing this kind of work. And so it's good stuff. And then, after you do all the work, you must relax, right? You got to relax. Don't forget to relax, gang. Here is our famous JMS relax sign. There you go. We always try when we remember to, because sometimes the shows get busy. Don't forget to relax, right? Breathe, love one another, take care of one another, and take care of yourself. We always say that. We don't call this an interview show. This is a conversational talk show with entertainment, inspiration, and a lot of other cool things that we surprise you with. We don't say goodbye around here. We say see you later. Ciao, cheers, shalom, slancha, buenas noches, hasta la vista. We say slancha and muy loop. Be well, take care, and we will see you on the next episode right here on the Jim Masters Show, where we're bringing back the lost art of conversation. Thanks for all the great comments, everybody. We appreciate them, and we appreciate you. And for those of you that are commenting later on our YouTube channel, do leave a comment for us. Give us a thumbs up. When you do that, that allows us to grow the show even more. Why? Because the YouTube algorithm sees that and it takes the episode and it beams it out to even more people when you take the time to give us a thumbs up and you leave a comment on the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. All right. This is great. You are like our studio audience. Even though you're not here in our studio, the fact that you're there watching and leaving comments and you're interactive with us, you are like our studio audience. And we think that is absolutely fantastic. So we're going to wrap for now. Really an epic show, as they all tend to be. And it's so good to have you and you and you and you here. You guys are the best. We appreciate it. Our audience, we were taking a look at some of the demographics. All ages watch our show, men and women of all ages, kids, adults. It's amazing. And from all different backgrounds, all different parts of the world, all different ages. And it doesn't matter your gender. Doesn't matter if you have religious views or not. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter how much money you make. Your zip code, what kind of car you drive, political views or no political views, or wherever you live, you are always welcome here at the Jim Masters Show Entertainment Lifestyle Variety Talk Show series. That's right. That's why our shows are filled with variety. Every episode is something unique. Every episode is something different. The guests come from different backgrounds, different levels of celebrity. Some of them are celebrity friends that I know personally, that I've interviewed maybe on television networks or on radio, and I invite them to hop on. And others are brand new to the show for the first time. first time they've been a guest on our show. And some of them have been multiple times because they enjoy it so much and we enjoy their company, as I enjoy your company as well. So again, if this is your first time, we welcome you. Join us again. We're here all the time for you. And spread the word. Tell your friends and family. Let everybody know about the Jim Masters Show. We would love that. That helps us grow as well. And if you're one of our faithful regular lovities, you're always here. And you're always, participating. Thank you very much as well. For those that are here for the first time or for the 900th time, whatever it is, thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate it. It means a lot. And you are definitely appreciated and duly noted. We really care that you're here. So obviously you're finding something that tickles your fancy, and that matters a lot to us. So thanks for all of the levity you send our way. All right. Happy holidays, gang. We're going to continue more great episodes coming up. And if you're watching live, we'll be back tomorrow with another great show. If you are watching this Memorex, you're watching this later on, well, thank you as well. We appreciate you being here as well. And whatever, you can do to spread the word about our show. And you can also share the links directly from our YouTube channel right onto your social media. A lot of you have been doing that as well. We thank you for that. And this is really cool stuff, having this opportunity to sit in this host chair, surrounded now by this winter wonderland of holiday spirit. And if you're not in a good mood and maybe you're down in the dumps, maybe there's things that have happened in your life, stop by the Jim Masters Show often. We'll find a way to put a smile on your face, make you laugh, inspire you, just have a good time with our guests and with our viewers, our levities. So stop by often. And if you know somebody that could use a laugh or smile, or they just want to participate in something like what we do here at the Jim Masters Show, tell them to stop by and click the subscribe button. Make sure also you click the notification bell next to the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. It actually looks like a bell icon. And when you click that, you'll get a little notification from us, from the show and YouTube, letting you know about all the episodes that are coming up. The next episode is this, the next episode is that. That way you never miss out. I can't tell you how many times people have said, oh, I didn't know you were on, or I didn't know that guest was on. Oh, I missed it. You can always catch it in the archives, but if you want to see it, while it's happening, make sure you click the notification bell so you never miss a thing. All right. You're the best. We love it. And we love it to you. We'll see you on the next one. This is your host, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time till next time. Wow, we heard from so many people today, all the characters that Daniel Ross has voiced, and then some. One more time, we thank Daniel for joining us here as my special guest on this episode of the Jim Masters Show. This was awesome. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Be well. We love you all. And thanks for watching this episode of the Jim Masters Show series. It's always great to have you here. Be well. Take care. Happy holidays. And cheers.